Welcome everybody to Investors AMA with Sonne Finance. Welcome to the DeFi Raiders Discord. I'm Relentless. I'll be hosting today. We're hosting Sonne Finance, as I already said, so we appreciate your time and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Excited to hear about this. With what you're doing and taking this initial. Getting in early on optimism. There's a lot of stuff that's going on over there, so I'm excited to hear about that. If you want to go ahead and give a little background about yourself, and maybe a little bit of background on how you got into the project.
So I am Atakan, everyone. If you didn't know me, you can know me as Intro to DeFi and social media and Twitter, YouTube, etc. I've been in crypto since 2015, one of the early Ethereum investors and Ethereum community members. And after that, after like 2017, I stepped back a little bit, then came here back for the DeFi summer. And afterwards, I was one of the first educators and traders on Phantom. I helped many protocols on their launch. I made tutorials for the community, made some interviews with guys from Phantom Foundation, helped Liquid Driver ship their product or Reaper Farm. You can still see my bug hunter tag there. One of the early testers of many protocols, and helped Abracadabra Money and Popsicle Finance to make their voice heard. And after that, now we are launching a protocol on Optimism. So many people are asking why you choose Optimism, but I think maybe some of you can join the stage and ask it. So I won't answer that now. And our team is 5 people and 2 on-demand designers. Our team is very experienced. Our developer was also the lead developer of one of the biggest NFT marketplaces on Binance Smart Chain. And the other developer, I know her for 1 year. We are working together for 1 year, and for the last 10 months, she is working on lending and borrowing protocols on Particular. And we tried to see an opportunity for a very long time, and here's our opportunity. We like Optimism, we like Velodrome, so we are launching. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I mean, what a great opportunity with the hype that Optimism is getting, and especially what you're doing. I mean, being able to corner this market in a way. What was it that made you want to launch a lending borrowing protocol? What led to that decision?
So there are different reasons for that, but firstly, the main protocol of DeFi is lending and borrowing. You have to, let's say you want short, you need a lending protocol, or let's say you want long, you again want a lending protocol, or you want to spend money in real life but don't want to spend your Ethereum, OP, whatever on chain. Again, you use the lending protocol. There are many great use cases for lending protocols, so we always want to do one. And to be honest, the other lending protocols had some issues, and we said that we can do it better. They're accepting under-collateralized algo stables, or doing shady partnerships with other protocols, or getting exploited on contract levels. So we said that we could do it better, and lending is one of the only DeFi applications that has real yield. So yeah, therefore we want to make a lending protocol. And it was there's no native lending protocol on Optimism, so it was a big opportunity for us to make a landing protocol on Optimism too.
Yeah, smart. Yeah, very smart. I mean, like I said at the beginning, if it pays to be first, and especially for this type of protocol to entrench yourself as the top lending borrowing project early on a chain that's blowing up like this should just have massive benefits in the long run.
Yeah.
So when you were working on this project, how did you mirror? I see in your docs you talk about Aave and Compound. How did you mirror them when developing it?
We are mirroring Compound like basically on the backend level. We don't want to invent the wheel again for the codes, because like Compound is basically one of the strongest and battle tested protocols out there. So we don't want anything to happen to our protocol on backend. But other than that, like we are using and coding our own tokenomics, our own like right now liquidity generation event, etc. But we are like forking the Compound on basically on backend level.
Okay. All right. And then let's see here. All right. So just the back end, right? So what emphasis are you putting onto the front end then? Like are there any unique things you're trying to do there?
What I wanted to say was like for lending and borrowing or using collaterals, we are using Compound. But for staking, like for distributing the tokens, for Velodrome partnerships, Velodrome contracts, we have to use and think our own code. So we are like Compound in the background, but in the front end, we are totally new protocol that shares revenues with its own stakers, that has pretty good incentives compared to other lending protocols, and yeah, I think that's it. Like for lending, it won't be different from Compound in the backend, but other than that, you will be using a totally different protocol with a total new innovative token distribution models. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, you had mentioned it earlier, about the audience probably asking about optimism. It's actually one of my questions. Besides getting in early, right? Which makes sense. What is attractive about optimism, as far as maybe the community or the tech or just the opportunities there for what you're trying to do?
So, like, there are few reasons for us to choose optimism. Firstly, I don't know, like if you remember, the L1 is the new L2 narrative back then. Like it worked for many different chains like Phantom, BSC, Near, etc. Like they all got huge hypes around them, but we believe that the next hype will be around the real L2s like Optimism, Arbitrum, etc. Like I personally used Arbitrum very early and didn't like the experience I had. Maybe they like upgrade their chain, but I don't know about it. They lost me early. So Optimism seemed like a better choice between the two. I don't even want to count Polygon because they had also shady things back then, so they lost me at there too. Secondly, like we believe, as I said before, there's a big opportunity here. There are many lending protocols out there like Aave, Granary, 100 Finance, etc. But we are only native protocol in Optimism for lending, and they cannot incentivize lending and borrowing like we do, because we can distribute our tokens, and they already distributed their tokens in other chains. So yeah, we will be the first and only lending protocol that launched on Optimism. And thirdly, as you may know me from like Twitter, YouTube, I was very involved with Phantom ecosystem and was the first person to do a video about Solidly. Like I know the protocol by heart. Our team knows the protocol by heart, and it's the best protocol to launch on instead of others. And Veldrom is basically a better Solidly with improvements and a good team. Like, by the way, there's no other Solidly fork in any other chain. I said this in our AMA before, but if you're a developer, here's your opportunity, just fork Veldrom in other chain. But anyway, because there's Veldrom here, instead of giving free LP APR to liquidity providers, we, as a protocol, and they earn more than what we give for. Like right now, $1 with $1 bribe, we can get $1.6 worth of emissions, which gives us like free money, I guess. And by us, I mean our community, our stakers. Our stakers will get this free money, and like all of these leads us to launch on Optimism, and like our LG shows that it's going pretty good, and we are very, very optimistic about it, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So speaking of the LGE, it's kind of a good transition, right? You mentioned that you mirrored the Taro's LGE event. Give us a little deep dive into the LGE and why the Taro model was so attractive for the LGE.
So we want some things. First, it should be, so we want to distribute tokens and we want to generate liquidity, right? So we said that it should be fair. We don't want any bots to pre-order some like tokens before normal people, real people. We don't want pre-sales because pre-sales can like hurt the trust of the community, and we don't want any VCs involving in before the real community, the real supporters of the project, because all they do is market it and dump on community. So we don't want that. If they want to buy, like they can buy like all the other people in our community, but there's no front running or private sales. So we, like, as I said before, I'm very, very experienced in DeFi, and in all the token generation events, liquidity generation events, private sales, etc., the Taro LG was the best in case of being fair, being like all community funded, and rewarding those early supporters of the protocol. So, and the community of Taro liked it very well as well. I was one of the Taro's LG participants as well, and I like the idea very, very well. So based on that, we want very similar approach to generate liquidity for our protocol. The only difference from Taro's LG is, so we have to accept that we are in bear markets, right? Like kind of bear markets. So people maybe don't want to invest for a token that is locked for 1 year. So we said that in Taro's LG, they are locking for 1 year, but in our LG, we are unlocking 50% of the tokens instantly, and 50% of them is locked for 1 year. So only difference is that. And the second difference is we are rewarding more to our supporters, because like it's even hard to buy a token from the market, let alone investing in a new protocol. So we want to reward more to those supporters, early supporters. So there are two differences, but other than that, we are very similar to Taros. And yeah, it's fair. People can have cozy launch, like there's no front running, there's no VCs, so yeah, they have nothing to worry about, and we have nothing to worry about as well. So yeah, that's why we chose Taro's approach.
Hey, I mean, their approach was successful, so I don't disagree there. All right, so With your lending and your model, right? So you're mostly focused a lot in like the blue chips and stable coins. Are there plans to expand past the current offering of tokens, or are you going to stick strictly with those tokens that you have listed in the white paper for now?
For now, we are sticking to those tokens and blue chips, but in the future, we can accept some new collaterals. We will looking to be partner up with synthetics in the future, but right now we are concerning our community users' funds safety. So we don't want anything to happen to those funds, at least for a while. We need to ensure trust. We need to say to the community that we are trustable. After that, maybe we can accept new collaterals, but for now, no. There's no plan for unsafe options.
Yeah, that's fair. That's smart. So, I mean, talking about tokens, let's kind of get into the distribution here that you guys have. Talk a little bit about the percentages of things. For example, you have 19% going to protocol growth. What does that look like? Is that like partnerships and marketing and things like that? And then we can talk about your. After we talk about the distribution, we can get into the rewards, emissions, and the bribes.
Yeah. So 19% of the protocol growth will go for marketing, and probably in the future we want to be on centralized exchanges, so they will want some liquidity on their part. So we are planning to use the protocol growth for those reasons, marketing and potential partnerships with other protocols as well as centralized exchanges. But in worst case, we will burn them. Like, if we don't use them, we will burn them. We won't use them for our personal use cases. You can always check the blockchain and ask how we use them, etc. So yeah, other than that, 12% goes to team, 2.5% goes to LG, 3.5% goes to LG rewards, and yeah, I think we can start to talk about the 60% rewards.
Yeah, just so everyone's aware, for people who are listening to this, if the first 24 hours you get that 3.5% bonus, correct? For contributing to LGE?
No, first 24 hours will be 0.3 rewards, but the 0. Other 3.2% will go for all the LG participants. So if you participate in the LG, you will get at least 28% more rewards, and if you participate in the first day, you will get 40% more rewards.
Okay, perfect. So yeah. 12% bonus there. Nice. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about your rewards, emissions, and bribes here. The concept of bribing Velo and rewarding the Sonne stakers with Velo from bribes instead of the native tokens. One, I like that because it doesn't dilute your token. It gets, Velo. What is it about Velo that makes this attractive to you and the end users?
One simple answer to that. Free money, sir. Bribing Velodrome is free money right now. Like, as I said before, you get $1.6 emissions for $1 bribes. So $0.6 profit for every bribe you have. So it's free money, sir.
Yeah, you can't argue with that. You can't beat free right now for sure.
Yeah. Instead of spending money on LPs, we are earning money on LPs. So yeah.
Yeah. And then as far as your emissions for the staking and revenue sharing, right? So you've got Velo from stakers, right? And then your two different pools, you got Velo for they get 80% of the Velo or 80% of the Velo rewards for the first 3 months. But then you get into the pools for staking. One pool is used for buying Sonne, distributing it to Sonne stakers, and the other will be used for buying USDC and distributing it to Sonne stakers. So what's the emission rate look like for those two pools?
So you can read the docs, but like for the first months, if I remember correctly, we are distributing 150,000 zones for rewards, and it will go to bribers. It will go to bribes. 40% of them will go for lending incentivization, and 40% of them will go for borrowing incentivization. And our staking has two different pools. Basically, they are the same. Like they will give the same, at least in dollar value, same rewards. But in one of them, you will be able to get more Sonne tokens, and in other, you will get USDC as reward. The reason we are going for this approach is I don't know if you know Andre Cronje, but he wrote an article back then, and like having invested in a DeFi token is already a hard task for normal people. And in the bull run, like if you get rewards with the base token, let's say Sonne in our example, if you get more rewards with Sonne in the bull run, it can be a blessing. Like it can be a very good thing. You are earning so much that you can't even think about. But in the bear market, like all of your tokens will depreciate, and like you didn't even earn anything. You lose all of your rewards. So people can choose between these two pools. If you want just the rewards, you can get USDC. You don't have to look to the protocol again. You just invest in Sonne, put your Sonne into USDC, Sonne, Sonne pool, and earn rewards in USDC, so they can compound in USDC. But if you want to like invest with high risk, high reward, you can always choose Sonne. The rewards will be, as I said before, distributed equally between two pools, so there won't be a like losing value in dollar terms. And for VLO rewards, like we generated liquidity, right? Like we are at least generating liquidity for the next 2 days as well. So we'll put that liquidity in Velodrome Finance and start to farm Velo with that, because we are bribing Velodrome, and VVelo holders will vote for us. They are already vote for us. Like at this time, I believe 2.3 million votes are coming for us, and it will only go upside, no downside. So we are earning too much Velo that we can share with our stakers, and those Velos will go to those USDC Sonne or S Sonne pools as well. So we are rewarding our stakers very much. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of rewards for the stakers. And then, yeah, so as regards to stakers and users, right? So what is their role in governance? All right. So how do you view governance of your protocol for the community?
So right now there is no governance. It's in the plans, but right now there's no governance. We're only revenue sharing.
Okay. All right. Okay, that answers that. And then let's see. All right, let's talk about the emissions decrease. I know it's in the docs, but is there a total amount of tokens? I don't.
Yeah, 100 million Sonne tokens. Yeah.
Okay, 100 million, and then that's going to, the emissions are going to decrease over the course of what, 37 months, 3 years, 36 months. Okay, so what's the final percentage there of emissions after the 3 years that users can expect?
I suspect I didn't understand the question, sir. Can
I see. Well, so for example, you have first month supply emissions rate will be equal to borrow emissions rate after first month, 70, 10, 20.
Yeah. For the For the first month, we want suppliers to land in our protocol because we need value locked. But after they supply, so as a protocol, we earn from borrowing. We want to incentivize borrowing more. So 10% of the rewards will go for lenders and 70% of the rewards will go for borrowers after the first month.
Okay. And then is that going to remain the same throughout? I know the emissions will reduce over time.
Yeah. The emissions reduce over time. There's no like particular formula for that, but we reviewed many different DeFi protocols, like at least 50, 60 different tokenomics before coming up with these emissions. And it's empirical, like there's no formula, but we use the best performing tokenomics in the field and empirically like, how can I say, sorry for my English, but empirically mix them and came up with the our emission rates. But there's no particular formula for that. They are decreasing over time. It's like an S curve, but there's no particular formula for that.
Okay. And then another question I have for back to Velo a little bit, right? So you're earning emissions from the bribes. How long, is there like a set window for how long you're going to be able to earn those emissions, or how long you're going to be able to distro Velo out?
So Velo tokenomics is like pretty complicated, but we are very sure that it will at least go for 1.5 years. But after that, we can see, we can rethink our emissions. At first, I don't want it to happen because Velodrome has a very good team and they are doing a very good job. But at first, we can move our liquidity to elsewhere, like Uniswap V3, to earn trading fees there. But yeah, until that happens, we are staying on Velodrome, and it will, in our calculations, it will go for 1.5 year at least.
Okay. Yeah, it's just So you are thinking ahead though towards that year and a half later, as to what platform you might move to bring extra revenue. Cool. All right. So one thing that the community is very interested in and I wanted to get to is KYC audits and security of your protocol. So I know that with leveraging protocols, I mean, we've seen exploits in the past. Aave has been exploited. So one, for your team, I know who you are, right? A lot of people know who you are, but is your entire team KYC doxed? Is the project completely audited? And then what's your approach to security?
So for now, there's no audit. As we are forking Compound, it will be the same as auditing Compound.
Okay.
But after 1-2 months, because we wanted to book for very good auditors, but they were full, and we didn't want to audit our protocol to sorry for my language, but shit auditor. It will be just a marketing gimmick. We didn't want that. We didn't want to give false thoughts in our community. So we don't want to go for shit auditors. So we are waiting for the best auditors in the field, and they're full for 2.5 months. And we are, as I said before, but we are fork of Compound in the backend, so it will be the same as auditing Compound, which is already very, very audited and battle tested. For KYC and docs part, I am doxed. You can find me in YouTube, Twitter, or if you want, I can DM you my surname.
Yeah, you're all over the place. We know who you are.
Yeah. I know the other people in the team, in real life. So they're they are docs to me, but I don't believe they are docs for like whole DeFi place. We can do that. We don't fear about doxing. We don't fear about KYCing. But don't forget that even with KYCs, the rocks happen and no one can do anything. So that's not the like KYCing is generally marketing gimmick of shitty protocols. But yeah, we can KYC if the community wants.
Yeah, I'd have to say I agree there. KYC hasn't meant that much. I mean, you look at a ton of the rug pull projects that have, advertised them being KYC and what actually happens to them.
Yeah. Nothing happens.
Or you look at the KYC and it's, incredibly limited anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I mean, I think personally, you have a great reputation. You've been in the community for a long, long period of time, and pretty much everybody knows who you are. So I think that helps a lot as far as that goes.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So I will, I know that I had a handful of questions, with you being like a lending leveraging protocol. It was more about your token distribution, the LGE, missions and bribes, which are all really in your, are in your documents. How does your treasury look, and what's your plans for building your treasury?
So, like, there is no treasure right now.
Mm-hmm. That's what the LGE is for, I assume.
LGE is
to an extent
not for the treasury, but it's for liquidity. So we didn't plan to have treasury because, like, we are planning to have governance in the next months, but it's not like governance you have seen before. It's like how the distributions go, how the emissions go, how should the rewards distributed, etc. But other than that, like for protocol level, we are like even like how can I say that? I don't know, but when you look to the other protocols governances, like they're not like governance. Developer has to upgrade the protocol anyway. Like even if you vote for we need to do that, but if developer didn't want to do that, they wouldn't happen. So like governance is another marketing gimmick in my opinion. But anyway, for the treasury, we didn't want like a protocol treasury because all Sonne does is share the revenues. Like after 3 months, we will be sharing 100% of the revenues with the stakers. So there won't be a need for protocol treasury. We already have protocol growth tokens for the like marketing and partnerships. So our treasury won't be needed.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, treasuries are usually, kind of reserved for backing the price of a native token to a protocol. And since you're using blue chips and stable coins. Yeah.
But we believe that it's a free market. Everybody should be able to like sell or buy or do anything with their tokens. So like having a treasury means people are earning less because protocol needs to take cut from people. So that way they can build treasury, but we won't take cuts. We only take cuts for the first 3 months because our tokens are locked for 2 years and 3 months cliff. So for the first 3 months, we won't have any tokens or any revenue. So only for 3 months, we will cut some earnings for the team. But other than that, all Sonne does will be revenue sharing.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. There's a couple community questions in here that I'll get to real quick. So Perennial asked, do you have plans to launch your product in the zero knowledge technology like ZK Sync or Scroll? Or do you have plans to launch a test net? I don't think I saw anything about the test net. So
we don't. We don't have plans for launching a testnet, and I don't know about ZK Sync products as well. Like that's not the field of us, sir. We are building dApps on top of the developers who built ZK Syncs or optimistic Ethereum, etc., or blockchains or DAGs, but we are not the professionals for that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's like you said, you've talked about like synthetics at some point, right? So if you're building on top of that, you don't really need to be the professional in building that specifically.
Yeah, of course.
And then what was the other thing? We've talked about KYCs, audits. Mr. Varma is typing something out right now. And then Floppy Flopster said, what is the main advantage Sonne has over other lending borrowing platforms on OP? And he's specifically referencing the non-native ones. Besides you being the native lending platform, what advantages do you guys think you have on Optimism?
I missed the first part of the question. Sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah, he asked, what is the main advantage you have over other non-native lending borrowing platforms on OP?
So, incentivization power, like the best advantage we have is incentivization power. Like, I don't know if you remember the L1 hype back then, like last year, 1.5 years ago. There was many protocols, like SushiSwap was on Phantom for a very long time, or Cream Finance was on Phantom for a very long time, but TVL growth happened when SpookySwap launched, or SpiritSwap launched, or Cream Finance launched, because Sushi or Cream had no incentivization for like deploying like for people to come and deploy their tokens on their platform. So for example, I don't know if you are using like Ethereum or Arbitrum or Phantom or like whatever. Just ask yourself this: would you change the network you are using for 3% APY on Aave? Like I wouldn't, I didn't, but I would change my network for, let's say, 60%, 70% APY for the first month, because there's a huge difference between 3% and 70%. That's the power of us. Like Granary has 2%, 3%, Aave has 3%, I believe, and even with OP grant, by the way, with OP rewards, like 100 Finance has 4%, but their UI is wrong. To be honest, we tested that as well. But yeah, let's say 100 Finance has 4%. Anyway, but we will have like 40-50% for the first month, and that will result, at least we hope that will result in huge TVL growth in Optimism, both in Optimism and in our protocol. So they don't have incentivization power in Optimism, but we will have. So that's the main advantage of being native to Optimism. And the second advantage, it's not as powerful as the first one, but the second advantage is because we are native to Optimism and we will be only in Optimism, we will get in touch with the projects in Optimism better than the others. Like have you used, let's say, Avalanche, and you want to partner up with Trader Joe, but they will probably like waiting for many protocols to be partnering up with them, so they will have to choose one protocol between them. Or let's say Synthetix is trying to partner up with a landing protocol. Will they choose a landing protocol that is coming just right now to the Optimism from other chain, or will they choose us in the, like, let's say 2 months later? Of course they will choose us, because we know what Optimism community needs. We know how they want. We know the other protocols in Optimism. So the second advantage is like knowing and like how can I say, acting better for the people on that specific chain, and optimism is that chain for us. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, any advantage matters, but I think the incentive, being able to incentivize, is huge.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then Logus767 asks, do you have other educational methods such as tutorials, articles, YouTube content to help people learn about the ins and outs of the protocol, right? So how like the staking and all that stuff works, is any of that going to be addressed for, like people coming, new people into optimism who may not understand like lending, borrowing protocols? Are you going to have educational content for them to really understand the project?
Yeah. As I said before, I can say that I'm an educator for DeFi on YouTube, so it's very easy for me to do. Just like we were so busy for the last 1 month, so I couldn't even like write any script for that. But yeah, I will do that, and you'll be able to learn anything about Sonne. Even if you are a new person or experienced person, you can just watch the videos of mine in the future, and you'll be happy, sirs.
Yeah, it's good to hear. I think a lot of people are looking for that education. I wish I had more of it when I first joined. That's for sure.
Yeah. I learned from someone else, like the knowledge passed person to person. Like, do you know Caesar snack sandwich?
Yeah, I know the name. Yeah,
I learned DeFi from him, like, and I am passing the knowledge I learned from him. At least I was passing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super helpful. I learned DeFi from chasing what other people were saying and learning the hard way. So,
yeah,
tough, but good lessons learned there.
Yeah.
All right. So, Mr. Varma just posted. Let's see. He's got a couple questions here. As a lending protocol on Optimism, is it an under collateralized or over collateralized type? I don't.
It's over collateralized, sir.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and then I mean that makes sense with you building the liquidity, the way that you are, and then using all the tokens that you are using. And then who are your current competitors?
I can say our competitors are Granary, 100, and Aave. But as I said before, I think the only competition will be Aave in like maybe 15, 16 days.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, Aave is like so established.
Yeah. But the others, I think we will pass them pretty quickly. Let's say we hope that we will pass them very, very quickly. But
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, just the way you're incentivizing users to come to your platform. I mean, like you said earlier, their rewards percentages are so low now. I mean, especially compared to when they started.
Yeah. With that rewards, like they cannot compete with Aave. I can easily say that. People will use Aave because like Aave is the most secure and established one, as you said. But people can choose us or Aave because of the incentives.
Yeah. All right. Mr. Varma has his hand raised. I think he wants to come up here and ask a question, if you're all right with that.
Yeah. It's fine.
All right. Mr. Varma, welcome up.
Hello, sir.
Can you hear me?
I cannot hear you, sir.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but your voice is coming from very, very, very deep, so it's very hard to hear you.
Sorry, it's night time here, so that's why I'm not able to speak loud.
Uh,
Like you could try right clicking him and turning up his user volume, see if that helps.
yeah, let me try that. Can you hear him?
I can hear him in the background. I just turned his volume up. Try speaking again, Mr. Varma.
Okay, now is it any better?
Yeah, I turned your volume all the way up. I can hear you a little better. You could try that, Atakan.
Yeah, I did it, but I still have problems. But yes, sir, you can ask anything. Maybe if I couldn't hear, Relentless can phrase it to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, my question is like in the recent times I came across few projects where they are doing the under collateralized loans, lending and borrowing. Like majoritarily, they are trying to cater to the businesses. With whatever the amount they get, they try to lend to the businesses so that they have some credit history, right? Based on that, they are trying to do the under collateralized loans. And I just want to ask, as a DeFi guy, um, how much do you think that under collateralized loans will work better in this DeFi space?
I think for undercollateralized loans to work, you have to have credit scores or have an army to, say people to give money when they don't give. But other than that, at least in DeFi, undercollateralized loans won't work. So, like only cream finance work those undercollateralized loans, but like they didn't want any collaterals. By the way, they just accepted that Yearn Finance was good enough for them to whitelist, so they gave loans to Yearn Finance for some interest rates. But other than that, undercollateralized loans, in my opinion, won't work, at least for this state of DeFi. Maybe in the future, when we have credit scores on blockchain, when we have salaries giving people giving salaries with USDC or USDT on blockchain, and they can prove that they have salaries, they have houses, etc. Maybe in that time undercollateralized loans can work, but right now I don't believe they will work, sir. They're just I think those projects are taking people's money and using those money for themselves.
Yeah, yes, that totally makes sense. Because at this state, as you said, under collateralized won't work. We don't have any history of a person. Like we all use some fake names and fake profiles, right? So yeah, at this point it doesn't make sense. Yeah, in future, as you said. Thank you for answering. I had a really, I really thought a lot how under collateralized will ever work in DeFi. Yeah, I got my answer. Thank you, Tekka, for answering.
Yeah, no problem, sir. Thank you for coming up. And just a suggestion, you can buy a new microphone, I believe.
Absolutely. I'll do that. Thank you.
Yeah, the new mics are definitely make a huge difference. So, I mean, I think, when you talk about under collateralized and not knowing who someone is, you start to look towards the future with decentralized digital ID and that quote unquote credit score and things like that. I think those will start to have an effect there. But, there's some projects that are working on things like that, especially decentralized digital ID. But a ton of that is going to come down to the legality of it and regulations and how they're able to implement that and ensure people's privacy. So there's a long way to go on that for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But definitely something that's interesting that I'm looking forward to playing out or seeing play out. Whether or not that works in our benefit, time will tell.
It will play out, sir. It will play out in the future. I have no doubt that we will call decentralized finance just finance in the future.
Yep. 100%. I mean, you just got to look at the scalability of blockchain technology and the current failures of the financial market, and then once you are able to integrate the proper mesh networks to be able to handle the traffic, I mean, it's gonna definitely on the road. All right, we got Champion raise his hand here. Let me bring him up here.
Hello, sir.
All right, Champion, if you can, I invited you. If you want to click and come up here to ask a question. All right. Well, while we wait for that, no one had a question. That's the username, not saying nobody had a question. They asked, what are your optimistic or what's your hopeful target for the LGE? I assume she means how much money are you hoping to raise during the LGE?
So our expected target was $100,000. Our pessimistic target was 50K, but we passed that.
Yes, you did.
And like for optimistic target, there's no limit. If you deposit like let's say $50 million, like we will be very happy. So
man, I wish I had $50 million to deposit in anything.
Yeah, I wish I had $50 million too, but yeah, for optimistic target, there's no limit. But expected target is around 100,000 to 150.
Yeah, I definitely think that's doable. I mean, you broke 50K, and pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So that's been pretty exciting to watch for you guys. All right, let me see here. I don't see any other. I think that about covers the audience questions, unless anybody else. I don't think. Let me re-invite Champion here. Still got his hand raised.
I think he misclicked to raise hand.
Yeah, maybe so. But all right. Well, yeah. I mean, all right. I don't see anything else here in the community questions, guys. If you do have community questions, feel free to post them in here or hop in their Discord. What's that? Oh, there he is. All right, Champion. Sorry, I was looking at a different screen. Go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Right now, we cannot hear you if you are talking. Sir, the same suggestion goes for you too. You can buy a new microphone, I believe.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Champion. If you want to type your question out real quick in the AMA questions, that way we can get it for you, answered for you while we have him on stage. And then, of course, to everyone here, if you think of any questions that you didn't hear the answer to that you want to know more about, you can post them in the AMA questions chat. I'm sure Adikin will get those. Oh, there he is.
Hello, sir.
Go ahead on, guys.
All right. Yeah, we can hear you now. What's your question?
Okay. I want to ask if you are planning to like expand to other blockchains like Arbitrum and Ethereum.
We don't have any plans for deploying in other blockchains, at least right now.
Okay. So then are the teams invest in any token?
I'm afraid I couldn't understand the question, sir.
I mean, in the tokenomics, I don't know if the team are investing any tokens like for a certain amount of months or a year.
Are you asking if they're investing in anything like for the project?
No, like team, like are there any tokens for the team, like team members, like tokens?
Yeah, 12%, sir.
How many percent?
12%. 12%.
Okay. And then if I wanted to deposit inside the website now, can I still do that? Or it has elapsed?
Could you understand the question?
Yeah. So right now it's just the liquidity generating event. So it's in the first day of that'll run for 72 hours. That's for the LGE, but the actual site itself with everything else hasn't fully launched yet.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for your questions.
Yeah, thank you for coming to the stage.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right. So if you guys, like I said, if you guys got any more, we're coming up on that hour. So if there's no more questions, we'll wrap this up here in just a second. And like I said, if you have, I'll post the link to their. Oh well, here we go. Oh, right on cue. All right. So 123 said, what are your plans to drive adoption and people's attention to your platform? And why do you think people should use your product? I mean, I think we've already touched a little bit on the usage for the incentivizing and all that, but
yeah. Somebody asked what's the name coming from or something like that.
Yeah, the inspiration behind the name.
Sonne means sun, sun in German. And we like German. There's it's just that we were looking for a name. Then Flug, who is here, you can see him, and the listeners. Flug came up with the name Sonne. Why don't you call your product Sonne? And when we hear that name, it's resonated with us because we can meme around the sun, we can build a theme around the sun, and it's looking like optimism logo, optimism icon. So yeah, that's why we chose the name Sonne Finance. It's pronounced Sonne, but you can call it son or sun. It doesn't matter. However you like it. But when you say Sonne, it comes better to the ear. It sounds cool. So yeah. We are not German, by the way, but we like German, I guess.
All right. Hey, sometimes it's all about sounding cool.
Yeah.
I don't argue with that. All right. Well, with that, that kind of wraps up the questions that I had and the community questions. So, if there's anything else you'd like to say, Atakan, other than that, we can.
Thank you for inviting us. It was a pretty good AMA. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming to the community, and thanks DeFi Raiders for hosting us. We are still launching, we are still continuing on Liquid Generation event. You can check that out. Don't forget to check out our protocol in 2 days later. We are going live in 2 days. So these are very, very exciting days and very busy days. And sorry if you DM me, sorry if I cannot answer you right away because, I guess we are very busy to launch.
Yeah, he'll get to you. Don't worry. He always gets back to me. So
yeah. When I read the message, I am answering immediately, but it takes time for me to read the message.
Yeah, it makes sense. Those days before launch are taxing. So
yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much again, Atakan, for joining us, and thanks everyone in the audience for joining us. Once again, I'm Relentless. On behalf of DeFi Raiders, we really appreciate you guys tuning in and learning about the project. We'll be uploading this audio and to a YouTube full length, a YouTube short, relatively soon after we get it downloaded and edited. And if you're hearing this for the first time on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll talk to you all next time.